Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House, and you can find us on YouTube at Joey143Jenny. So welcome to our little yellow house. I wish you were here with us. And today I am back on the envelope journal and back playing with Cathe Holden's wonderful goodies. And I filmed another video. It didn't work out. So you'll see on the journal that I've done a little bit of work, but I want to get into these. I want to play with them. I want to put them in the journal, but I'm going to set them aside here for just a second because I want to show you a few things, and then we'll go through all of these goodies. So here is the journal again, as a reminder, and a couple of things that I've done is I used Cathe's wonderful papers and just did a kind of just a straight line collage where I just tore pages, maybe, in quarters and thirds or what have you, and put it down. I did leave this part of the envelope, which I loved, so I just left that. And then I had a little scrap left over, so I put it here. And then what I'm going to do today, I'll show you a few other things that I've done, but since we're right here, what I've done is the book that I showed you in one of the last videos that I use for, as a cradle to bind the signature, the one that we use to put this in. I use some of the pages sometimes to glue instead of my big pattern page that I've been using. Sometimes I use a little one. And so I'll get these little pieces. And so I'm going to make a pocket to put right here. And I'm making it out of this old checkbook ledger. And found this checkbook ledger at a local flea market. And look how gigantic this thing was. So I trimmed this down a little bit, but this book is really big and I just love it. And I love the color. I love how aged it is. This one is from 1945, I think is what it says, 1945. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that on and make a pocket here, and we'll put some things in here to be able to write on. And then I had a piece of cardstock, and I just put some more of Cathe's paper on, and I'm going to just glue that right here, and use it as a belly band to kind of slide some things through. So I think let's do that now while I'm right here. That's an easy one to do. So I'm just going to, my glue. So you're only supposed to, if you have this art glitter glue, you're only supposed to use a stainless pin to put in it. So I bought some stainless pins, but unfortunately they're not stainless, so they keep rusting. So I need to just officially get a real one, like an official one. So I'm just going to try to get that as even as possible, get it glued down, and then once that's nice and adhered, we'll just, we could put something through there. I'll just, as an example, what do I have here? Well, let's just say this was something that I had made a pocket or a tag or something. I could slip it under there to write on, or just for fun. I did use some of the paper I just tore out some of the paper and put it on this open envelope that is here to write on. And I thought that looked kind of cute. And then back here, I have another one of these that I'd like to make. I don't know if I'll get to it today, but I'd like to make a little journal card to slip into this envelope. So I left that there to remind myself. And we'll make one for here too. Or I may just put one of Cathe's goodies in that one, which is kind of what I'm thinking because it's nice and small. And then we have a pocket here, and I need to put something there. And I also have this little pocket that I made, same way. I just put paper over it, and I thought I would put it right there. Stand up for a second and grab. Just gonna put that little thumb hole in here. like we did last time. I try to get it as much in the middle as I can, but as you can see, like here, it doesn't always happen. But let's see if we can swing that over just a little bit. See if that'll make it a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. It's fine. It is a junk journal after all, even though I'm using this absolutely beautiful paper of Cathe's. So I'm going to put that there, and then what I'll do is I will put something little in that, which will be super cute, something fun that whoever is going to use this journal will be able to find something fun in that little teeny pocket. So I hope everybody's having a good day. It's absolutely beautiful today. I got out this morning and went to a little local flea market down on our main street, and I live in a small town, so the main street is very, very small, but it has some really neat little stores. However, a lot of them have chosen to only open, like, you know, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But there is one that was open today, so that was fun. I went in there and nosed around there, and the ladies were sweet enough to make me a caramel cappuccino, which I haven't had one of those in, I mean, literally years. I think it's been since I've had one of those. So, man, that was nice. And one of my earlier videos, I shared that I had been sick over the holidays. And I still have a little bit of a cough, and I tend to keep losing my voice a little bit. So that's why it's a little raspy. So that, pardon me, that cappuccino, man, that just, whew, it tasted so good, and that warmth on my throat was awesome. So I'm just doing this to kind of be done with it and be able to move on to the back side. You can use any paper, like maybe you have an old newspaper, or you know, part of a letter that you like or something, or you can make something. What I'm going to do here is just cut out that corner like that. And then I'm just going to turn that under, kind of strengthen it a little bit. I'll turn this under, kind of strengthen that a little bit, if I can get it. It's a little wobbly from being gluey. One thing I like about this little tip on this is that, you know, you can get it really on these little tight pieces. There we go. And it does connect pretty quickly. For some reason that's not wanting to stick very well. So remember this, I got at the dollar store. It's great for smoothing things down like that. All right. And I don't think I'm going to put the little thumb hole here because I'd like to keep all of that. I'm just going to outline it a little bit. You don't have to do this, and honestly, I don't even know if I feel like it's necessary, but it's like anything else you outline, it just draws a little bit more definition to it. So I like to, here and there, mostly here and there. I do it quite a bit. Okay, so that little, I don't know if you can see that little black dot. It's not so bad because it's underneath on this pocket. But if I were gluing something that was like lace, or if I was gluing vellum, that would not be good. So I need to find a pen, or, you know, a straight pen that isn't going to rust or clog, which this is clogged up, probably because of the pin. There we go. But you can see it's a little discolored. It's not white. And that's exactly why you want that kind of a pin to put down in there. And that's my attempt of a straight line. Okay. All right, so I'm going to lay that down. Like that. Just give it a little push to make sure it's all nice and down. That's fun. And then I'll put a little something in that again once that's nice and dry, nice and, you know, adhered well. Sometimes these older and more fragile papers, they get very, very soft when you glue them, so kind of wait just a little bit. All right, so I think, pardon me, I think that's it for this side to show you. Now let's flip it over. Remember on this it flips different ways, and so we're going to flip it over. And then what I've done is, again, I just tore a piece out of Cathe's tablet, and I do have a little bit of white right here, and I would like to cover that up, so I am going to take my Distress Oxide. It's the Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to, and this is so well used. I mean, I have had this, I can't even tell you how long I've had this, and I have, the funny thing about it is that I have several new pads, plus I have an inker, you know, the ink that I can pour on here and blot. You can rejuvenize it sometimes with a little bit of water, but for some reason, I just keep using this old one and scrubbing it on this paper. So, I don't know why. Maybe one of these days I'm going to break down and I'm going to get out one of my new pads. We'll see. So I don't know, we've had a lot of change in weather, and that could be what's wrong with my voice. I'm kind of fearful that we may have some early pollination and blooms for spring because the weather has been nice. And so this may just be a little bit of extended allergies because of that. Now, you could reinforce this. I'm not going to. I'm going to try to be delicate. Do I want to reinforce it? No, I don't think I mean, it's nice and thick. It's not like cardstock though, and it's not like thick scrapbook paper, but it's definitely thicker than like this paper here or your copy paper. So I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. If I feel like it is a little bit more vulnerable, what I'll do is I'll take some lace to the top or something. But I really like the way the top looks, and I really like the way it looks on this coffee dyed envelope. Alright, so there's another pocket, and then we'll make something to go in here. So it'll go in there, and then don't forget we have this up here. This is another envelope. I cut it open so we could write in it. Or not we, maybe whoever gets this. So you could put something in this one, and you could put something in this one. And then over here is the other part of the pocket. And then you may remember we did a envelope, a window envelope here. And then I just made this quick little journal card. It's almost like a bookmarker size, but you could definitely journal on it. I think I made that out of either out of a manila folder or a tag that was on something, and I just covered it, and I just slid it down in there. And I may do something around here. Now, I'm going to hold this up so you can see. Typically, if you haven't cleaned your glue tip and it does have some rust, you may get something that looks like that. But that's not the case in this instance. This is actually a reaction that the glue had on this envelope. So this envelope is one of those security envelopes, and it must turn a color if it's been altered in some way or something, because the second I put this little vellum over this this window envelope here, it turned that color. So I might put some washi. I might leave it. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with that. But a lot of times that is what will happen if you have one of these metal tips that has gotten, you know, rusted. But that's not the case here, but it does look very similar to that. All right. So we did that. We did that. Flip over here. There was one more. Oh, yes. We want to do this one. And is that it? I think so. Oh, and then I don't know if you remember, I was going to put a page in here, but then it cracked. And so I said, oh, I'll save it and I'll hinge it in. So what I ended up doing is I have these envelopes, and if you go back to the previous video, you'll see what happened. What I did is I put these envelopes in, and then they left these flaps. So with the flaps, I used it as a hinge. Like, here's a little coin envelope, okay? And I used this to hinge this piece of paper in because it was so fragile. Well, there's our train. And then this writer's envelope that I opened, I used it also to hinge, okay? Well, I thought, you know what? I'm going to just get out for fun. I'm just going to get out my markers, and I'm going to color in the black and white a little bit of this lady. And so basically what I did was, I don't know if I don't have my markers here, but I have this little plate here, and oops, and I just take a marker. So like, let's say this was a regular marker. This is like a thin line, but let's say this is a regular marker. I'll do that on this little bowl here. You could use like an old, you know, like what your lunch meat comes in. You could use one of those lids. You know, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. This is just an extra plate I have. And then you can use your watercolors. This is a watercolor pen that I like to use. And so then what I did is I just dripped out a little bit of water, and I picked some of this up. And I'll show you on this one. Here's a page. And then you just, you know, you can just lightly, it just gives you a nice light color versus like when you're actually working with maybe your watercolors. So that's just a regular pen marker, you know, and that's what I used to color this. I just literally used my marker, and I used this brush, and then I was able to paint this lady. So right now, I'm sorry, I'm getting a shadow here, but I'm going to grab a little, I'm going to clean my brush real quick since I'm going to be putting it away. I just like to squeeze out a little water and get it clean that way, so it's ready for when I really want to use it for something. And then just use that to tidy up that. All right. So that's how I did that. And I thought about painting these cute little ducklings. But I thought, don't press it. Just carry on. Leave something for somebody else to do. So that's what happened. All right. So here's the one that we're going to cover now. And I need to go ahead and, oops, yikes. I need to go ahead and glue it down. So I just finished binge watching, this last week I just finished binge watching a show. If you're on my Facebook, you saw me put it on my Facebook. It's called Old Enough. That's what it's called in English. I think it probably translates very similar in Japanese. It's a show that's originally filmed in Japan, and man, it's very, very fascinating. I hope you'll watch it. It's on Netflix again, and it basically what it is they okay, how do I explain this? This camera crew follows children that the parents have sent on errands. So these Japanese folks, they're the parents, determine an errand for the children, and then this camera crew follows them around. Now, here's the thing about it. It's the first errand that this child has gone on. So it's a big deal. And one of the episodes explains it as a rite of passage, that this is something in the culture that they do. Is that they, you know, they'll give the children something, a list of things to do, and then they'll send the kids off. So I thought, oh, that's so fascinating. I'm going to watch that. I was a nervous wreck half the time watching it. And the reason being, now granted, there are, you know, the whole camera crew, and there's like, and they're disguised. So like, for instance, one will be a lady in a house dress, and she has her pocketbook, and in that purse is the video camera. Another one will be an electrician, and he has his toolbox, and the toolbox is the, you know, the video camera. So these kids go about, their mom or dad give them the whole list of what the errand they want them to do. Now, for the most part, about, I would say 90% of the children, they have quite a distance to travel. So most of them are walking, not all of them, to these. And then each child is given 2 to 3 things to do in this chore. So example, I need you to go to the grocery store and pick up this, this, and this. So A, B, and C. And then, so the children, you know, need to do all 3 of those. And then once you're done with the grocery store, I need you to go over to grandma's, or I need you to go to the bakery, or whatever. So then they have like a next leg of this trip. So I know that doesn't sound like too much, you know, because if you send like a 12 or 13-year-old out, you're thinking, well, that shouldn't be too bad. But these children are anywhere from 2 and 8 months, because they tell you how old they are. And I think the youngest I noted was 2 and 8 months up to just at 5 years old. These are very young children. I was, oh my gosh, I was such a wreck watching these kids. I was so thankful that they had the camera crews, you know, with them. But I thought to myself, oh my goodness, how many children before and after them don't have a camera crew? You know what I mean? Like, because they'll say something like, Big Brother did his 2 years, you know, did his first errand 2 years ago. Now it's little sister's turn, or something like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, where was the camera crew for that? It's just, it makes me nervous. I'm not going to lie. But it's a very, very interesting show. And there's so many cultural things that are fascinating to me. So they always, and it's narrated, so they always start out with telling about the city or the village or the, you know, the countryside, and what that area is known for. So like maybe it's known for rice, or, you know, some type of production of something, like fish, or, you know, where they're sailors and things like that, or fishermen or what have you. And then they show you the map. So, you know, before the child goes on this trip, the narrator shows you the map of the path that these littles take. And I am just like, oh my gosh. And I have to say, I'm going to use this as my ruler here. I do have to say that the parents, even though in their culture, it seems as though in their culture, this is something that needs to happen. This is a responsibility, like I said, rite of passage. They still have, you know, like anybody else would, a concern that their little is out there and, can they do it? Will they remember everything? And it's the sweetest little thing because the children, on several occasions, the children would go and they'd be going about doing their errand, and halfway through forget, they're little. They'd forget what they're supposed to get, or maybe they only remember one or two, and they go all the way back home to ask mommy or daddy, what was I supposed to, what was that? I can't remember the other two things or the other one thing or whatever. And I gotta tell you, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm just a wreck about it. But I definitely think it's worth watching. There are some sad moments. None of the children are hurt or nothing happens to the children. And the camera crew is very, very protective of the kids. You'll see that in a couple of different sections. I mean, these children have to cross, some of them have to cross, streets. One little girl, she was, I think, almost 5. And then her sister or brother was almost 3. And they had to walk to the train station, take this train that was about, I don't know, under 5 minutes. But, I mean, it was a full-on train track, take the train and catch a ferry. And so then they took the ferry over to the nearest city. And then they did their errands, from there. I was just like, oh my goodness. You just keep thinking, oh, they're going to miss their, the ones that have to take the bus, they have to take a bus. Are they going to get on the right bus? But there's certain things that, it's just like with any other parent or any other learning experience. Before you send a child out to do something, or even if you're at the grocery store and you say, okay, go get mommy the radishes. Well, they're going to get the ones that they're familiar with, and so every second when you're with a child is a learning opportunity. It's it's a training ground. So these kids are used to, oh, we always walk on this side of the street. We always cross here when we go to the store. We always do this. We always do that. And so they have this habit of, doing certain things, But I tell you, if you ever get a chance to watch it, it's on Netflix. It's so good. It's so good. So I am just trying to cut back all the things that I missed when measuring. All right. Now, this is a little bit, like I was talking about wet. See how mobile that is, almost like fabric. So I'm just going to lay that flat and let that dry a little bit more. And what I'd like to do is put a little tab. I cut it a little short so that I could put a little tab on it to pull it out. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make that out of maybe a little... Well, let's see if Cathe has something in her collections here. Yeah. Let's just look. Let's get this out of the way. Get some of this out of the way. Take a drink of coffee to calm my throat. Okay. And let's just bring this toss platter here so I can toss all this in here. Okay, because I think I see something I could use as a topper. Aren't these beautiful? So beautiful. Okay, I was thinking, see these cute little hinges Cathe made? I could either hinge it on here, fold it over, or I could take 2 hinges back to back and make it like that. Wonder if that's going to be too tall if I do that. Let's see. Remember I said I hoard Cathe's stuff? Well, I do, and so I don't want to make any mistakes. I think it's going to work if I just use 2. And, yeah, let's try it. Let's just do it. So let's do 1 full first. I like to use this art glitter glue on these things that are a little bit thicker. Like this is a little bit more like cardstock, because it seems to stick really well. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball middle. I know if you follow me on Facebook at all, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you know that anything Cathe Holden is 100% my favorite. Not because she's my sister, but because it's absolutely beautiful. And there's nothing else like it. It's so gorgeous and unique. There's so many unique things. I mean, you'll find things that are similar, you know, like little postcards or what have you, but you will see so many unique things like these little hinges. Oh, that looks so cute. Okay. Let's see how she does. It's still a little damp, so be very careful. That's going to fit right in there. Okay, so you're going through your notebook, you're jotting down your events, your day, all your little secrets, you're writing down your expenses or what have you, all the places you visited when your travels. You come over here and you're like, oh, what's that? And you pull this little tab out and you're like, oh, how pretty. That must be a Cathe Holden picture. Okay, so I am going to leave that out just for a little bit to dry. But let's look at some of these other goodies and see if there's anywhere that we can place them. So we have this little pocket here. And let's look and see. I think these are fun too. So not on this page because it's too narrow, but let's say you had, you know, a wider page and you could use those little hinges. Here's another one. You could use those little hinges here and of course score it, and then these would open, you know, your little shutters would open. How adorable. And you would have something peekaboo back there, like maybe some flowers or something like that. All right, let's see. Oh, this is neat. That's neat. Since we were doing envelopes, let's leave that one out. That might be something to go in there. That's really fun. It looks very nice with this blue, so we'll put that in there. So many great things. Let's use that fish on something. I love it. Okay, let's use that fish on something. Where could we put that fish? He could be our tuck. Yeah. He's going to be our tuck. So I'm just going to swoop around like that. Swoop around like that with the glue to give enough room for it. All right. And I'll put it right on there. That's unexpected and fun. I'll leave it and let it dry. Yeah, that's fun. We'll look at something bigger to go in this. So let's see. This could use something. Is there anything in here we want to put there? We've got all these other ones to look through. So we could do something else. That's a contender. That's neat. Reminds me of the pictures of my grandfather. Our grandfather, Cathe and my grandfather. It's not, I don't think. I don't remember this particular picture, so I don't think it actually is. I'm going to leave that out too. That's pretty cool. Okay. And I'm going to leave that one out. Okay, so now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put this wonderful set back. And that one is called Happy Thought Miscellany. And these are all from Spellbinders. So you can, I don't know, even go to Etsy probably and search for Cathe Holden ephemera. Or you can go to Spellbinders and see her entire collection. You know, if they don't have it there. I oftentimes buy it from Spellbinder because I like to look at the whole collection at a time. Okay, so there's that one. That's super fun. What's this one? Rewards of Merit. Oh, look, I put a nice little closure. Oh, so smart. Okay. Let's get it all out. Oh yeah, these are a little bit bigger, so these might fit. Okay. That might fit in somewhere. I think it's too big for that. Although this one may work. That's kind of pretty. We'll see. We're trying it out. This one may work in here. We'll see. I don't think it works as well. That's probably dry. Let's poke it down in there. Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right, so now we're working on this guy, trying to find something here. And this was a thought. What else do we have? It's kind of pretty up there. We'll see. We'll see. Ooh, that's so pretty. That might work. They'll all work. That's the great thing is they all coordinate so nicely. I think I like that one. They coordinate so nicely that you could put any of them in there. Look at this. That's so cool. Well, this one's nice, and this is also in one of her fabrics, I believe, which I love. And this is a little, look at this little, that little tuck. Let's try that in the back. This is like a little flip, or what are they called at school? Oh, not a flip card. You probably know what I'm trying to say. I'll get it as soon as I turn the camera off. Hey, that'll look cute, I think. I think we'll do that there. All right. Okay, so we've got a couple of pockets filled. This one, I think I'm going to put that there. I think that'll look really pretty. Let's do it. If I put it over here, we can still tuck something in there. So let's do that. Clean my nozzle a little bit. All right. Oh, forgot what I was doing. Okay. Oh, excess glue. I have that little piece of paper towel that I used to clean up that watercolor example. Okay, that'll be fun. And we'll put a little something in here later. Once it dries, we'll put something in there. That'll be a treat. And then we'll put something in here. Maybe we'll even put a little, is there something Cathe has here that I could use? Like maybe something little or round. Kind of want it to be, that's pretty. Yeah, let's use that. Just use the top. So instead of actually tucking the, you know, like we did the fish, I'm just going to use it as like a lift. And it'll be kind of decorative. Okay. Clean it up just a smidgy-midge. Yeah, I think that's cute. Okay. You may remember this middle part. This was very, very fragile. I did put a little bit of washi just to reinforce, and then this is some of Cathe's fabric. I used it in the middle as a reinforcement. All right, we can put our house in here now. I love it. That's cute. We'll put something here. We can put something on top of that. We'll find something to go in here. Is there something here we want to use? Maybe something a little bit bigger. All right, let's look at one of the. Let's look at this other bag here. We've got this one here. That's cute. Okay. So far, so good. It's getting chubby. We've got our pocket here and here. And we're going to make, we can make ephemera too to put in. So we don't have to fill them all with Cathe because, you know, I get panicky using it all. So, okay. All right, let's open this other one. And then I think we'll call it a video. And the next video, maybe we'll make some of our own out of different things that we have around here. This is called Happy Thought. Is this the one I already did? Happy Thought. Yes, I should have another one. I got two of the same ones. Okay, let me look. Okay, carry on. Okay, I think I have a couple more. I didn't grab them all, I guess, when I first started to sit down. So I have Home Arts and Meadowlark. Do I have either of those? No. All right, let's look at this one real quick. And then we'll call it a video, and we'll work on making some the next time, and we'll use maybe some of the stickers of Cathe's and her stamps. All right, these are going to be so pretty. Let's see what we need. Oh, we need something over this. Is there anything here that we can do? Oh, that's cute. Let's see if we find anything else. It's fun to go through them all. I love these little playing cards. Those are great for like what we did with the fish. You can use the little playing card for the same thing. I don't know, I like that glove. Okay. All right, let's do this glove here. I think it works well, but let's put a little piece of something. Still still got some scraps here. Yeah, let's put a little piece of something there. And I am going to highlight it a little bit. It's very wonky. We'll see what we need and what we need to tear off. It's longer than normal video. I can't help it using the Cathe Holden. I can't help it. Okay, we don't need to tear too much off. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll take this out just so I don't accidentally get something on it, and I'll use my glue sheet here. And I am going to use this just to try to get a nice fine line. Try. Like that. See what happens. Okay. Yeah,